So now we are now ready to reference our internal rate of returns from our cash flow waterfall schedule. So we go back to the cash flow waterfall, and we know that there was a project internal rate of returns of approximately 33%. So we reference that there. And for per unit basis, in this case, we would just borrow the formula here, the unit of the square foot basis. So we borrow the formula here, we paste it as formulas, or ESF. And then for the return on equity, it's gonna be the same. So if you take this amount, we divide it by the profit divided by the peak equity, we see that it's 88% per unit of a square foot base. So we can now just, what we can do is just to highlight this out edge. You can make this color and just make it yellow. So now we are now ready to sensitize our internal rate of return. So we're gonna be doing this based on the sales price per square foot and the dollar cost per square, the development cost of this project. So we have set an assumption here already. So what we are doing here is that we're gonna take this cell, we're gonna go back to this cell, hit it with F2, and then we're gonna go back here and set this formula to be equal to that amount, and then we'll instead multiply it by 1 plus our sensitivity value. So 1 multiplied by this sensitivity value. So if we change this amount, it's gonna cause changes in our model, just like that. And then for the development cost, what we want to do is we want to sensitize this value here. So we're just gonna go back to this development cost, hit this cell with F2. We are not changing anything, we just multiply it by 1 plus our sensitivity value there, so that when that value changes, it affects the model. So we are making it dynamic. So in this case, we are setting this sensitivity value to be equal to 0. That's our starting point. But then on the worst case scenario, what we want to set this to be equal to is, we're gonna say this minus 0.0, we just go this minus 0.05. So in the worst case scenario, the sales per square foot will reduce by 5 to 13%, and in the best case, it's gonna be this plus 0.05. We set it up like that. And then for the development cost, we're gonna set this starting point there, and then the best case is gonna be equal to this minus 0.05. So we expect the cost to go down by 5% in the best case. Copy this. And then in the worst case scenario, we want to set this to be equal to this plus 0.05. So it increases by 5% in the worst case. So we are sensitizing the internal rate of returns. So we will set this cell to be equal to this cell over here. So we want to see the rate of returns as the sales price goes up by 5% and when it goes down by 10%. And we want to see the rate of returns when the development cost will go up by 10% and when it goes down by 10%. So we were simulating the rate of returns as a result of that. So we can just go highlight all of this cell. We go Alt AWT, or you could go Alt DT, but we'll still bring up the data table. And in this case, it's asking us for the whole input cell. The whole input cell is just gonna be our this value here for our sales assumption, and the column input cell is gonna be this value here for our development cost assumption. So we can now press OK, and Excel is gonna do the math for us. We scroll down, as you can see it says 0, but we're just gonna wait for a bit to see what the values will be.